Good morning. Good morning. Did you like that
Good.
new video?
Yeah, I liked it.
Huh?
I said, yeah, I liked it. I liked it. I like that kind of.
Yeah,
I guess
I was
I've
playing
also
around yesterday.
I like the. I've gotten used to the 30-second countdown, but I like that one too. But it was a good surprise. It
Yeah,
kind of woke me up a little bit. But welcome everybody. Welcome.
yeah.
Before we jump into the personal conversation and everything, I just want to say welcome and good morning to everybody. As you join us this morning, all the people coming in. We will be going live on Facebook,
Mhm.
on Instagram, on YouTube. So I hope y'all maybe can send a link right now to some of your friends and family that you see online right now. That would be great, so they can get this too. If you have not been here before, hopefully you have. But if you have not been here before, we are a mother-son duo. I'm the co-host, Brandon, and then the main host, the beautiful, the powerful Butterfly. And we are going through daily inspirations in the reading of the book Daily Motivations for African American Success by Dennis Kimbro, the best-selling author of Think and Grow Rich. We have been here for over 30 days now, in reading this book, each passage having a quote, an affirmation, and then a passage about our own upliftment and giving us powerful tools and messages that really help us kind of get through the day, give us a little extra fuel to the fire of life throughout the day. So, just a little bit about this book. Um, it says daily motivations for African American success will help you focus on the thoughts, the attitudes, and deeds that will lead to the achievement of your true goals. In 365 short but powerful motivations, one for each day of the year, Dennis Kimbro leads us to discover how to use the present moment and our own gifts to transcend labels, cultivate a positive attitude, become wise enough to know when to say yes and when to say no, and to look inward for answers to life's challenges. This treasure trove of practical inspiration will give you fresh encouragement every day of the year, but what it teaches you, what it has been teaching us for the last 30 days, surely will last us a lifetime. I know I certainly won't forget. Mom, is there anything you want to say about this book? And how was your yesterday?
My yesterday was motivating. Um,
Yeah,
had a good day. Had a good conversations about about the book and what some of the people are getting from it. So continuing to be empowered and inspired by this book and motivated to get up and do it. It's not. I noticed the last 2 days that I have gotten up a bit later, but we've been doing this. We've been rocking now. What we're on day 32, 32, right?
I think so. Yeah, I
And
think so.
right, and so it does add some extra things on my to do list. So just making it through, but not once have I thought I'm not going to do this. Like so, I'm just inspired, and I'm truly blessed for the timing of it, and that I'm showing up for it. Meaning not just here, but here internally that I'm showing up for it, and it's just what God ordered for me. Um, Before we get going, I did have a thought about, we talked a bit about Mary yesterday, and we may have said this in a different way. But this morning, as I'm preparing for today, I thought, boy, what it must have looked like, what the obstacle must have looked like, or what Mary went through, was going through, according to them, the people, looked like a big obstacle, right? A
Right.
big obstacle. And think about how many people you see in this time and day that seemingly to you that they're going through something. And so I thought, you know what? Sometimes, and I was reminded of one of the sermons that we heard. You may have not have been in the church. I believe it was at the last family reunion that I attended, and the pastor there was talking about how we look at people who have gone through something. We look at them differently. Yet there are people in the Bible who went through some things, but we don't hold them, we don't hold that against them seemingly, right? It's just Paul, and whomever else is in there that you read about, that, or Joseph, you know what it looked like to you and what you thought about that person or why you thought they were there, right? According to
Mm-hmm.
your, and you never know, you never know. And I said this last week at journaling through the scripture that in one thing, God is doing many things for many different people. It's not just about you and what you are growing through. So if God has you at a door that doesn't look like your door, while I may not understand God, I'm going in. I'm going through it. If He sends you through it and you get in there like, ooh, really don't understand this, but I'm gonna keep going. I'm gonna go to somebody's. If I go through that door, then there's something in there. There's somebody in there, and if you would just, that's what I mean by assignment. Look at your life as an assignment, or that you are a servant. And if you say let it be, then let it be. And yeah, is that asking? You're gonna have to be, that bone will have to be broken, as we talked about, like a broken bone that is healed properly. A broken bone that is healed properly works better than the original. So it's okay to be broken if that's your perspective, right? But I
Mm.
called it, I'm just healing properly. That's all. And this is part of the assignment. That's all. So that was in my spirit this morning I'm just still in awe about the book of Mary in the Quran. In the Quran, I'm just I don't know. It just blessed me in a different way to study the book of Mary in that way, because there's no book of Mary in the Bible that was given to me, And I found myself, and I don't want to make this about that, but I gotta say it. I found myself saying, why? Why did we not know more about Mary? You know? So promises today is our title. Good morning, Brenda. Good morning, Tony Wilson. Thank you. Appreciate you listening in. So let's do it, Brandon. Let's do it.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. To piggyback upon on what you said before we jump into it, um, that's one thing that I was interested in as well when I read the Quran, that the 19th chapter, titled Maryam, was titled after the mother of Isa, or the mother of Jesus, peace be upon him. And I know that there was a book that was about Mary that wasn't included in the Bible, was decided to not be included in the Bible. Um, and I often wondered why in all the writings of Paul, which I think there were, what, 20 some 30 something books in the New Testament, that he never mentions Mary. He never mentions the mother of Jesus. He never mentions her story or her impact on the life of Jesus, on raising him, on anything. And that's something I know. Not that I compare in any way to him at all, but I know our relationship as a mother and son, and I can't imagine my story without you having a chapter in it. So
Mm,
as people who profess to follow Jesus, I think it is increasingly in these times significant and purposeful for you to discover who she was, and to know as much as you can about her, if you say you do love her son. Because whether you believe Jesus was the Son of God, if you believe Jesus was God Himself, or whether you believe he was just a great man, or you believe he was a prophet, messenger, Messiah, there's so many different titles and thoughts that are given to Jesus. May God be pleased with him. Um, that I think it would behoove you to understand his mother. No matter what you consider him, we can all agree that he is the son of Mary. No matter in what case he was birthed through the womb of Mary. And so to not understand her story, I think you are missing a critical piece to the greater story. And there's so much that you might be missing out on. So
right.
again, not
And
to
Brandon,
get.
if I might, if I might,
Mhm.
I just really want to do again. I want to invite anyone who is interested. This Thursday, as we journal through the scripture at the mosque, we're studying Jesus together, right? So
Yeah,
think about your thought process about people of different faith, including Muslims, coming together and studying together without the Trump hat on, if I may say that. Just think about that. So the invite is out there. I think this Thursday will be the last one for a little bit because of Ramadan, right?
I think so. Yes.
Right? Think so?
Hmm.
Okay. So enough of that. But if you'd like to, you may want to drop me a message because my messenger, for whatever reason, Facebook is tripping. So it is what it is. I don't have access, and I don't plan on creating a pin because I don't know if it's legit. So, whole nother story, but drop me a message on my page or contact me through my website. All right, over to you. Sorry for the
Awesome. No
lengthy
problem. No,
introduction.
this has been absolutely great, and everything is purposeful. So I appreciate you, Mom, for bringing it up and sharing your thoughts on your yesterday, your today. And let's see exactly what we got going on today. So you said that the title is what now?
Promises, promises,
Promises, promises. All right, I'll
promises,
jump right into it. So the
promises.
title again, everybody, is promises, promises. And our quote from a distinguished African American in our history is from William A. Jones, who is the founder of the National Black Pastors Conference. And William A. Jones
Mm,
said, "The richness of the promise has not run out. Keep the faith. Don't get discouraged. Maintain
mm,
the course." Again, the richness of the promise has not run out. Keep the faith. Don't get discouraged. Maintain the course. So I'll jump right into the passage for today.
mm,
Have you ever felt that life was all tangled up and you couldn't find the way out? The best response to this situation is to sit beside a lake or stream just as the stars
mm,
come out. All will be calm and peaceful. Somehow, a quietness will come over you, and you will feel capable of tackling life again. No matter where you are in life, no matter who you are, no matter what you have accomplished, no matter when or where or why you may have failed in the past, you must promise yourself always to stay in touch with your divine potential. Promise yourself to be so strong that nothing disturbs your peace of mind. And it lists some bullet points. Talk health, happiness, and prosperity to every person you meet. Make all your friends feel that there is a power inside of them. Be optimistic and look at life's sunnier side. Think only of the best. Work only for the best. And expect only
mm,
the best. Be just as enthusiastic regarding the success of others as you are about your own. Forget the mistakes of the past and press forward to the greater achievements of the future. Wear a cheerful countenance at all times and greet every living creature with a smile. Give so much time to improvement of yourself that you have no time to criticize others.
mm,
Be too large for worry, too noble for anger, too strong for fear, and too happy to allow the presence of trouble. And the affirmation for today that we read 3 times, one for me, one for you, and one for the person you're going to send this link to. So please do. If there's somebody that you see online that you know and love, copy paste this link, send it to them. Say, hey, check this out. As we jump into these 3 readings of the affirmation. The affirmation is, today I will raise my consciousness. I will live up to my divine potential regardless of outer circumstances. Today, I will raise my consciousness. I will live up to my divine potential, regardless of outer circumstances. And last time, today, I will raise my consciousness. I will live up to my divine potential, regardless of outer circumstances. And that's today's reading, y'all. That was a great one. That was some powerful bullet points that I think we could all use. I know that I could use them. And it solidifies kind of a consciousness that I've already envisioned. But it's so for
Mm,
me, this increase of consciousness is confirmation for the path forward on some difficult, but some not so difficult circumstances that are outside of my control. But I'm reminded that all that I can control is myself, and I am the lens by which I view and interpret and interact with the world. So I think this, especially those bullet points, will help me. I'm going to go over them a couple more times probably today, and it's going to help me, inshallah, God willing, to filter the information and interactions and relations and relationships that I build and have with others, and most importantly with myself and the people within my proximity, and more specifically the people under my care, meaning my wife and my family. So that's what I'm getting from it, just off of the first blush. Mom, what do you get from it? There's more that I want to say, but I want to make sure that you share some too.
okay. Well, I want to ask you to read again because I don't know if you switched over this morning because you buffered out a little bit on
I
no matter where you, hmm,
I said I did switch it over.
did
Sorry,
you?
go ahead.
Okay. So I'm sorry, no matter where you are in life, no matter, I'm reading it. I want to ask you to read it again. Will you read that part at the very top where it starts with no matter where you are in life, just to the end, please?
Sure, sure. No matter where you are in life, no matter who you are, no matter what you have accomplished, no matter when or where or why you may have failed in the past, you must promise yourself always to stay in touch with your divine potential. Promise yourself to be so strong that nothing disturbs your peace of mind.
Yeah. Okay. I just wanted to make sure because I really wanted people to hear that. So I'm going to
Mm,
start back up at the top. Maintain the course, right? Maintain the course. What is your course? And that course has to come from the place of knowing who you are,
mm,
knowing your goal. How many times, I'll just ask this for those of you who've been rocking with us, right? Have you ordered the book?
mm.
Have you thought about your goal? Have you made a plan? Have you turned off the TV and started doing these things that you need to be successful? And I'm not talking about gaining things, right? I'm not talking about that. That is not what this book is. That is not the type of success that Dr. Dennis Kimbro is speaking about here. He's talking about that internal success that you need for this journey. Brandon kind of goes back to we don't want to make a million, we want to spend a million.
Right. That's
What's
what.
your why? Where Leslie, who's been listening to us, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just agreeing with
What
you.
were you going to say, Brandon? Okay, so go back to like Leslie said. I'm starting a business because I want to buy back my time, right? So she's going to spend her time differently now, right? So you have to internalize, and that's what I feel like we've been saying here all along. Like, truth be told, it's not them. It's not them. It's you. No matter where you are now, no matter where you've come from, no matter what obstacles you've had to endure, how and where you are now, truth be told, has all to do with you. And if you don't first get that, then your obstacles will be just those obstacles. Keep you down, keep you limited, keep you mentally hungry, spiritually hungry, continue to keep you seeking for your answers from the world and from people. And the world doesn't have the answers, and people sure don't have them. Look at you. You can look at them and know that they don't have them. Not all, not all. But if we continue to seek the world, we will continue to lose the world within us, the spirit within us. I'll say that. So to me, this is just confirmation, confirmation, confirmation. Um, the promises. I'm still trying to find the relation in it, and I'll get it as I read it again later on today. But he always titles these to take us to a different place. So I don't know what I expected from this one. I kind of went blank on it.
I
So back
think
over to you, and I'm gonna check comments.
the promises title, um, if you look at the italics at the bottom of the first paragraph, he begins, promise yourself to be so strong that nothing disturbs your peace of mind. And then there's a colon that goes into a bullet list of points. And I think those looks like 9 bullet points are the promises that we're making to ourselves, including the affirmation at the end, making it possibly 10. But those are the promises. So promising yourself to be so strong that nothing disturbs your peace of mind, right? Like and that's a level of faith.
Okay.
There's a level of faith to see my to hear stories about my great grandmother not shedding
Okay.
tears at her child's funeral, where she is more than it's more than understandable that she could. I just remember
Yeah.
that. I remember it always stands out to me, the faith of certain people after great loss. It's in those times that we're challenged on our faith and how we approach it. I think about um specifically as far as faith, I think about, some of the things that are going on overseas, specifically with the war in on Gaza. I won't say in Gaza, but on Gaza, on those people, and how I've seen children lose every single member of their family. Children, I mean, under 10 years old, under like 7, 8 years old, lose every member of their family, and they say in Arabic, uh, they say, God is sufficient for me, and He is enough. He is the best, or yeah, God is enough for me, or God is sufficient for me, and He is the best disposer of affairs, which is a verse from the Quran. These kids, these children will say it. I saw a video yesterday of a child who his brother went out to go get some flour. I don't know if you guys know this, but they finally had um, let some trucks in because they've been starving them for over 140 something days with no food, no water, no fuel, no electricity. Cut it all off from that entire 28 miles. And so they finally, while food trucks wait on the outside, and the Israeli government won't let them in, let those aid trucks in. And so they finally let a couple of them in. And as those aid trucks come in, and there's literally thousands of people descending upon the trucks to get the flour so that they can just make some bread, while those thousands of people are descending on the trucks, the army starts shooting them as they come, and tanking them and sending jets over to to shoot them as they get their bread. So the flour, or get the flour. So the flour is littered with blood. And one of the children was killed. His brother said, "My brother just left." He was like, "Oh God, why did this happen? My brother just left." And he just said, "God, why did that happen?" He's like, "Oh God, my brother just left for a few minutes. I told him don't be long, and he never came back." And he was there before his brother's dead body. And by the end, he said, "In Jannah with him, to Jannah," which means to paradise with him, for he's been martyred in the cause of God. Oh, how lucky is he? How lucky is he? I wish I was asleep next to him. a kid under 10 years old.
Mhm.
So, the power and the strength of these people, if you pay attention, if you don't turn away, if you pay attention to these people, you will see a faith unlike you have ever seen. And interestingly enough, it's causing many people to review their own faith in comparison to the faith of children. Of children. You have 17,000 unaccompanied children right now, meaning they don't have any family, any parents, nothing. 17,000. One in every two people killed is a mother. It's ridiculous. So all that to say, we have a great opportunity here. We don't know how blessed we are. We don't know how blessed we are. And those are our tax dollars that are paying for the bombs. So when we say promises, promises, when we see the richness of the promise has not run out, keep the faith, don't get discouraged, maintain the course. Who are we not to?
Mhm.
Living in the laps of luxury. I mean, look behind me. Look at my mother. Look at behind my mother. Look at how easy we have it. Think about how soft our beds are and how hard it is to get up out of them in the morning. What excuses do we have not to keep these simple promises to ourselves? Who are we? Like, are we really so deluded in our own selves that we have to
Yes.
make these promises with ourselves? This that we're so removed from reality, the reality of the preciousness and the treasure of life, that we have to become firm just to get back up to square one, to say that, to have enough faith to talk health, happiness, and prosperity to every person that we meet. As if, I could understand maybe a child who had lost his entire family not having a smile and not talking about health, happiness, and prosperity. But when I see those children with so little speaking so highly of their Lord and having a enthusiastic and even great disposition about their Creator and their own situation, and to make light of a dead brother, and to say, to Jannah with him, to paradise with him, how lucky he is. Like, to me, seeing people that have gone through so much, like you mentioned earlier, Mom, and what we project onto them, I think we're projecting our own insecurities, uh, um, our own poison, in a
I think
sense.
we're trying to protect it because we know that it's there. Like we know that we know that we know. When the lights go out, you can play that role all day, every day. But when you sit beside the stream, right? Just as the
Hmm.
stars are coming, or vice versa, or whatever it is for you, you know that you know that you know. You know. You know.
Yeah.
Can I say it again? Um, Brandon, where it talks about promise yourself to, I get it now. I get the promises, promises. Promise yourself to be so strong that nothing disturbs your peace of mind. That's deep. And that's kind of summing everything that I've said these 32 days now. Like, I know sometimes it may sound like life cannot be that great. I think people have this perspective that when we say this, that nothing is wrong.
Mm.
No, it's not that we choose not to be, that to see it as an obstacle, period. And these things, the one that I like so much, give so much time to improvement of yourself that you don't have time to criticize others. Like you don't have time. Woe it's me, I say. Again, woe it's me. If you internalize every offense, every
Mm.
attack, every obstacle, if you internalize, why am I feeling this way? You'll answer some questions that will help you heal properly, right? You will help the broken bone heal properly so that when it's healed, it functions better. So equate that bone to you. But you're so busy looking at the life of others and this world and the distractions, and you don't even know who you are.
Mm.
You don't even know. You don't. You flip flop back and forth. You waffle house it. Why is this thing buffering?
Mhm. It's okay.
I am hardwired again, Brandon. Like I am hardwired to the thing. So back over to you. How are we for time? 7:30. Let's see. Let's get some of these comments out here. Since we are Brenda, good morning and happy Sunday to you. Got Mr. Tony, your son's projects, your electric energy. I can tell by his eye contact that he has a good, intense heart.
Oh, thank you,
Oh,
brother. Thank you,
it's what
Tony.
makes him an effective fighter. You did a great job. Thank you, Tony. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Tony.
Tony. And let's see what Tony has for us again. Speaking on books, have you read the Book of Thomas? No, I have not. We have you, Brandon? Have you read the Book of Thomas?
Yes, I think it's I've read parts of it, but I haven't read it in its original language. I think it was
Mm-hmm.
I think it was discovered in like the 40s, like 1945, and it wasn't included inside of the biblical text, but it has some different accounts that might be not contradictory, but at least in contradiction in some ways to some of the biblical accounts of certain people. So it's just
Mm-hmm.
like and in addition to what people would consider the apocrypha of books that weren't included, probably for specific reasons. You know, if there was ever a um I think they call it like extra canonical books, but if there was ever a part inside of a, a book, a religious book that they were thinking about including in the Bible, and if it had parts about going against Caesar or going against tyrants in any kind of way, or things that spoke about the actions of justice, or things that spoke in a different narrative of, let's say, Jesus, his mother, his family, what they did, things like that, then they didn't include it because it didn't go with in all honesty, their interpretation and the mixing of Roman mysticism with Hebraic and Judaic uh, um, thought and religious perspective. So it didn't fit that same mold, so they didn't include it. But it would be interesting to read that, um, the Book of Barnabas, which is more, I think, more has more contending or contention around it. But yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting. So, but
Okay.
yeah, I know
Brandon, I want to bring up before I forget, you mentioned your great grandma, my grandma, hearing the story of her not crying. I remember as a little girl looking, I was there as a little girl when she had lost her son, her baby, one of her baby sons, like, you know, one of the babies. And not that it matters if your child is older or young, but you know, there is still something that hits when they've not been able to fully, you know, you see them fully grow up. But I remember peeping around just like and thinking, she's not crying. And I was a little girl and I just didn't understand why she wasn't crying. And as I think about my grandmother now, and we lost her a couple of years ago at age 94, as I think about her and her strength, and as I continue to grow um, internally in hopes of obtaining that same strength and faith, there was a source of faith that does not exist today. Like they didn't depend on themselves, right?
Mm.
And they didn't look at what they went through as obstacles, right? Because one of the people that blessed me with these words, while I don't understand, God, I trust you, is she's still living, thank God, but she's an elderly lady as well. And there was something that we as these young women, right, we need. There was something. There was essence about them. There was glory about them because of their faith. Their life was not their own, you know. They had this feminine energy, and they knew what it was. I think about the time where I mentioned where I saw my grandmother tell my granddad something without speaking. I was woed by that as well. I remember just sitting up in my chair on my knees next to my granddad, and I saw the communication that came without words. So they had all the words, but they didn't always have to speak them. They had the faith, so they didn't need to react. Sometimes not even to respond, because they trust in, oh my God, they trust. They had faith. They had faith. They prayed. They prayed. So I just wanted to get that out because I started to visualize that scene again where I'm looking at her and I'm just thinking, wow, you know, not as the words now, how strong she is. Then, wow, my grandmother's not crying. She just sat there and she closed her eyes and she just kind of kept moving. And that was a sense of praying,
Mm.
and trusting and believing and knowing that, like the little boy you said, like, he's not mine. This is who you allowed. You gifted me to be his guide, to be the womb that he came through, but he is yours. He is yours. You have a right, to bring him back to you. If so be, like Mary said, I'm a servant. If so be, let it be. So I visualize that and appreciate you bringing that up, because it allows me to see her again and feel her energy here. And I might add, my last dream of my grandmother is after her passing, going on, I dreamed a lot about her, and my uncle as well. Her eldest son died 1 week before her, right? And then she passed on, and they were like two peas in a pot. But the last dream, she was telling me, "What is wrong with y'all? I am fine." That was her words. "I am fine. What is wrong with y'all?" And wouldn't she be fine? She's been fine 94 years. And I don't think I've ever seen my grandmother cry. Ever. Either one of my grandmothers. And I'm not saying that, that has to be our thing, but the faith, the strength. Now, in silence and whatever, they may have did their thing, but they believed in the promises, in the promises of God. They believed them, they trusted them, and they knew that with them came obstacles, but it was not obstacles. It was just part of the journey. To them, it looked like obstacles from the people who were outside but did not know.
That brings me
They
to
did
one
not
of
know about
the
the promises, the promise.
that
Oh,
brings me to one of the promises that was or one of the bullet points. Let me see. It says, hmm.
the last one, maybe?
It was something that really stuck out to me about. Let me find it.
While you're
I'll find it.
looking,
Yeah, I'll look. I'll
you
find it.
mean
Go ahead.
today, from today? One of the ones
Mm-hmm.
today?
Mm-hmm. It reminded me of what you just said.
Be too large for worry, too noble for anger, too strong for fear, and too happy to allow the presence of trouble.
Right, right. That's it. That's it. That's it. I just thought that was powerful. It reminded me of that because even though she was a small woman, she was too large for worry, and she was too noble, or had become. I've seen her angry, but it was for right reasons. You know what I mean? Like there's a righteous anger, and I think sometimes we can get
Yeah.
caught up sometimes in our faithfulness and our righteousness as to deny ourselves the humanity to allow anger. When good people do nothing, right? That's when injustice propagates. Is when good people are silent, when good people aren't angry. And I think that is a lukewarm faith. And who wants to taste that? I'm
Mm.
reminded that when I'm reminded of Jesus flipping the tables in the accounts, the biblical
I was just
accounts.
thinking about that, Brandon,
Yeah,
as you were talking about grandma. I was just thinking when you said that, you know, you've seen her anger. Yeah, she was. I just thought about that. She would be the Jesus turning over the tables, and then get up, get you up, and go get you something to eat, baby. Didn't even think
Right,
on it.
exactly.
Didn't hold it. So
And
sorry to interrupt you, but I was
there
just
was a
thinking about.
righteous, no, no problem. There was a righteous reason for that. You've turned my father's house into a den of thieves. You know, there's a reason, and if more
Mhm,
of
mhm,
us were had a righteous anger that informed our actions, not made the actions for us, but informed our actions, gave us context, gave us sentiment, gave us some type of emotional intelligence as to the how dynamic the problem is, so that we can create a equally dynamic solution to remedy it. And I think if we did more of that, there'd be a lot less dysfunction, a lot less evil that would continue to rip our world, our hearts, and the social fabric between us apart. So don't forget your own emotion. Every emotion that you have is what God gave you. He gave you the power to feel those emotions. But remember that those emotions only and should only, in my opinion, inform your actions, not make the actions for you. The same
mhm.
fire within you that can keep you warm can also consume you and burn you. So the same fire, depending on your proximity to it, you control that proximity, you control the range, but and you also control the action. So in making these promises to yourself, let's read them again. Talk health and happiness and prosperity to every person you meet. What else can you get back if you only put out health, happiness, and prosperity? You'll get back health, happiness, and prosperity. Make all your friends feel that there's a power inside of them. You know, recognizing the power in others allows you the opportunity to see it within yourself, and it allows them the freedom to express a similar sentiment. Now, you guys, instead of trading emotional poison, you guys are
Mm,
trading, you know, emotional compliments, and spiritual elevations, and raising your status and your rank as far as righteousness. And then it also keeps you away from self-righteousness, right? Be just as enthusiastic regarding the success of others as you are about your own, right? Like, be genuinely happy for others. Come out of this Western idea of competition, 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 competition. We
right.
did not develop culture, societies, ethnic groups, civilizations in competition. We develop those in coordination, in codependence upon each other. If you're better, if a woman is better at sewing the needle because my fingers are too big, and I'm better at tilling the land so that we can all eat, and I can till it faster than she can because I'm stronger, then why would I be competitive with her in sewing? Just let her sew all day. She can make more shirts and skirts and scarves and blankets than I could. If I worked all day, she could probably do it in half a day. If she worked all day in the fields, I could do it in half a day. Let her do all of the shirt making, all of the clothing making. Let me do all of the plowing. And what we reap from that will benefit us all. You see what I'm saying? So, like, we working together. So don't forget to be just as enthusiastic regarding the success of others, and pray for them, encourage them, think about them as much as you would your own, or ask them to do the same for you, right? Forget the mistakes of the past and press forward to the greater achievements of the future. You can't control the past, so don't let the past control you, right? Don't give it that power. You cannot control the past, so don't let it control you. And likewise, you don't control the outcomes. So don't be attached to certain outcomes that immobilize you from actually doing the action. That's called analysis paralysis, because you're so attached to the outcome. Trust the process. All you have is the ever present now. The past doesn't exist and the future isn't here yet. So what do you control? Yourself and the space and place and circumstances that you're in right now. How do you have the ability? What's your ability to respond to your situation? That's your responsibility. Wear a cheerful countenance at all times and greet every living creature with a smile. How deluded are we to thinking that the only things that matter are our relationships with people with two eyes, with human beings that walk upright, and not with the birds outside? not with you know, the trees that we're cutting down, not with the litter that we just throw off into the lake and the
Mm,
river and the stream. How disconnected are we when God created mankind and he gave us the beasts, the fowls of the air, and the land to make us khalifa, or to make us stewards of the land, as it's translated in the Bible, to where we were upkeepers of this, that we were given some form of authority in this, but we don't know who we are. I can't tell you guys the amount of times that I've walked among wild animals that had the ability to do harm to me. And I said, Bismillah, or in the name of God. And those animals looked at me like, oh, you know, oh, you actually know. I recognize you. Or I say salam. I say peace to you. And they're like, you know. So it's us that are disconnected. We have a very particular relationship with nature. There's a hadith, and that actually brings me back to the book of Thomas that was referenced earlier. The hadiths are the sayings of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. In the book of Thomas, if I'm not mistaken, was the parables and the sayings of Jesus. As according to them, it was the book of his sayings and his parables and things like that, and his relations to others. And
mm,
one of the sayings in the hadith that I remember was that 1 hour of contemplation in nature, contemplating the wonders of nature, 1 hour is worth 70 years of prayer. Just 1 hour. Because
mm,
there's so much depth, and there's so much of God, there's so much of the creator in its purest form, not negated by the intention that we have with our ability to do good and evil, with our eating of the fruit of knowledge of good and evil. Animals don't have that. They don't eat from the fruit of good and evil. They only know what they were created to do. They only know their instincts. They only know, those immediate satiations of self. So they are in their divine purpose, whereas we have that choice in order to obey, disobey, in order to submit or become rebellious against our own nature. And how many of us are so detached from our nature due to the leisure of air conditioning, due to the 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 providence of fast food, due to the we can think about this for Mary, for example. I know, Mom, when we were reading about Mary, when Zachariah would come upon her, and this is in the Quranic references, he would come upon her and he would find, um, because he was protecting her. He was in charge with protecting her. He would come upon her and find food that he didn't bring her. Like, how did you get this food? And it's even something that we didn't bring distinction to in the actual class, but I know from other scholarly accounts and in reading and references of that passage, that he would come in and to see that she had fruits that were out of season. He would
mm.
come in and it would be like, you got an orange in the middle of the winter? How did you get this? This isn't even in season. How do you have all of these things? Right? And now look at us. I can
Hmm.
go to the store in the middle of February and get a pineapple. Do you know how blessed we are? We have more now. Even if you live in relative poverty, you have more than the kings 1,000 years ago. More. You can turn on a light switch. How about that?
And still want more. You
And
still
still
want
want
more,
more.
need more, want more, need more, seek more. Right.
Right? So
So,
do you even have the space inside of your consciousness to allow yourself to fulfill these promises? Do you even have the space in the libraries of your mind to fill them with books of knowledge instead of books of ignorance? Can you throw some things away? Can you declutter your mind so that there's space for these affirmations to exist? Can you delete some of the old habits inside of your mind and some of the cobwebs in your consciousness in order to plant seeds of faith? You know what I mean? So if you can do that, if you don't have space, if you say these promises and they fall on deaf ears, if they fall on a barren heart, then maybe there's some tilling that you need to do of your own internal land. Maybe there's some throwing away, some decluttering, some house cleaning that you need to do before you admit these. But the only way you're going to do it, read them over and over and over again and find where there's the cognitive dissonance of, wait a minute, do I talk health and happiness and prosperity to every person I meet? Or am I the person that always has some bad news? Am I the
Brandon, I
person
want to
that,
throw something. I want
yeah,
to throw
no,
something in there. Are you the person who rejects or thinks something is wrong with the person who tries to talk health, happiness, and prosperity to you? Like, what do
ooh,
you do? Think about a person in your life who is this person. Like, they are positive. They try to bring out the best, see the best. And what do you think about them? What do you
mhm,
think for our social media people? Do you pass up this kind of post? Do you pass them up? I got a post this morning, and I don't want your Instagram to run out, so we'll work to bring it to close. But I got a message this morning, and I'm going to say it because I feel led. Nothing, no pun intended about this post, but I remember a message. I remember thinking, so it says, "Man will let you down, God won't." And the only part I want to focus on in that, okay, I don't care what man will do. That's not my concern. I didn't create man. I can't make man do anything. So my response was, yes, this is why the focus and trust should always be on God. Grand rising. That's it for me. I don't want to hear the other part. I don't want to bring it into my space. I know it. I can't do anything about it. And sure, man's going to disappoint you, but that's not going to be my focus today. I'm waking up with God. While I may not understand things might happen to this day, not my problem, not my issue. I'm a servant for you. Let it be. So will it be. And I want to get back to that point where uh promise yourself to be so strong that nothing disturbs your peace of mind. I'm not always all the way there, but I'm starting to see it. And how? Because I have to grow through something, right, Brandon? Things have to
yeah,
happen where obstacles have to come up in order for me to say, oh, you know what? I just told you that, Brandon, the other day. What about it? The old Tammy, oh my gosh, it would have paralyzed me, paralyzed me internally. But I would have kept going, right?
yeah,
You know, it's like we are God. We are people of God. He has us. No matter what it looks like, we're good. It's good. So there's so much more I could say about the nature because I've experienced that part and had those moments where I thought, if I told somebody this, they think I'm losing my mind because I used to spend a lot of time out in nature by myself. And man, when I tell you nature talks to you, I tell people now that Shelby Farms was my therapist for many
mm,
years. Shelby Farms is
mhm,
a nice area we have here, acres and acres of land, of peace, of nature. Um, and I just remember looking one day walking, very fascinated with trees. And I just remember looking at the trees. They were all different sizes, shapes, height, all of that. And somebody just said, they don't compete. They don't compete. The tall one doesn't question the short one. The short one does not want to be tall. They just be. They just be. I remember the birds over at the house, Brandon. I got a recording of the birds just sitting on my bench in front of my door, protecting the baby. They're baby birds, and I have the same thing here. They come back every year and build their nest, and I'm grateful. Like I watch them. I even last year because some of them the babies would try to get out and they would fall and hit the porch pavement. So last year I put a pillow down there. So if they fall, they'll still be alive, you know? So
and do you
there's
know
so
this,
much
Mom?
more, but
Can I say this right here? You could be, people don't realize there's another hadith by the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam that said that a woman who was a prostitute passed a dog that was panting and was emaciated and thirsty from being in the desert, and she did not have anything on her to hold water. So she used her shoe, got water out of the well, and gave it to the dog and left the dog her shoe to drink water out of. After living a life of prostitution, it was at that moment that God uh, admitted her to heaven for her compassion
Mm,
to a dog. After living
mm,
a life of prostitution, she had heart enough to not walk past that thirsty dog in the desert and used her shoe. Now
mhm.
she has to walk on the hot sand or be one shoe. What's the use of one shoe? And she gave water to a dog and she was admitted into heaven.
And y'all will pass people and not even, I'll pass people. And if I, because my heart wants to stop. Y'all picked up so many people. I'm telling you, I, I picked up so many people, but my heart wants to stop. But we're in a different day and time, right? If I'm
Right.
truly led to, I will. But if I don't, I pray for them. I pray God. I pray God help them do, give them what they need. Let them see that they already have it. I pray. I do not pass a person that has a need that I either don't feel led to, because as I mentioned with homeless people, I do it if I'm led to. I don't want to do it out of, oh, whoa, da da da. I want to do it with my heart and passion. So if I can't, or if I don't, they are going to get a prayer. They are. They will get a prayer. But
Mm,
some of y'all will pass people and not think once. I'm not going to say twice about it, not think once about it, right? So over to
yeah.
you, Brandon. I don't want your Instagram to just go dead.
Yeah, yeah. I'm
Um,
gonna close this out real quick. We got
okay.
like 3 minutes. So
Thank
again,
y'all for
guys,
rocking with us.
we've been around the whole world and universe on this subject of promises, which is the title of today on March 3rd. Thank y'all for rocking with us on the 32nd day. So we're gonna end it the same way that we do every show, with a reading of the title, a reading of the quote, and 3 times on the affirmation if we have time. So the title, promises. And the quote, the richness of the promise has not run out. So keep the faith. Don't get discouraged. Maintain the course. That's from William A. Jones, founder of the National Black Pastors Conference. And our affirmation for today is, today I will raise my consciousness. I will live up to my divine potential regardless of outer circumstances. Today I will raise my consciousness. I will live up to my divine potential regardless of outer circumstances. And last time, for the person in the back of the room, say it loud, say it proud, or for the person that you're going to send this to. Today I will raise my consciousness. I will live up to my divine potential regardless of the outer circumstances. Thank y'all so much for rocking with us on this 32nd day. This is all we have for you in the season podcast with my beautiful mother, powerful woman, the butterfly, and her co-host, me. Appreciate y'all. We'll see y'all tomorrow. Same time, same place, 7 a.m. Central Time.
Peace,
Peace.
y'all.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.